So today I thought I could make a different video because we've been doing this doing videos about the same tank for like a week and a half, 2 weeks now, and that's been about the 20 rimless, which you guys just got like a little update about the new plants, the new bees of peat and the pearl weed. Um, but we haven't really even seen this tank. Usually when I do my spotlight, my plant species and my fish species videos, you guys always see this tank, and you guys I haven't been doing any of that lately, or at least in this past couple weeks. And so you guys never really seen this tank up close in a while. So I thought today we could do a little update. It is dirty, it hasn't been getting really the attention that this one has, because this one, it's perfect. It's crystal clear. The surface is crystal clear. Everything's going good as of now in that tank. Um, it's just the only thing we're waiting on is plants growing, and then it'll start really looking nice. But this tank, you could see, definitely need to clean the front of the glass. It's not, videoing this tank without clean glasses, it gets a glare, and it looks pretty terrible. But I've been still doing water changes. I just haven't been, doing, like all my maintenance I usually do. I usually scrub the glass at least like every couple days, maybe every day. You know, Scrubbing the rocks, I still kind of do that. I haven't been doing it as good. Um, but the filters, I'm gonna, rinse all those sponges out this weekend. Get all that cleaned up again, and take that dirty water and pour it in there. So that puts a lot of bacteria in that tank. Um, so that's my plan for that. But everything else, I guess we could talk about, with kind of the plant, the kind of what the scape's going on here. So obviously, if you're somebody that's just watching this, this is Serious Stone. Um, this is a total like custom scape. I ordered 40, 45 pounds, even 50 maybe. I forget. It's 40 to 50 pounds of Serious Stone that I ordered, and I basically created this type of scape. Usually, this middle piece that kind of bridges over is usually up a little higher. It just sometimes it just over time it just kind of slowly like kind of tilts down, and it gets lower and lower. It just because it bounces on these rocks. So every week I have to go in the tank and fix it and make it look pretty again. But it always looks fine. I just don't like it so low to the substrate. Kind of like it more up, so it's more like a little cave. But yeah, and then you know it's a lot of complicated stacking right here. It's just a, took a long time to think of this, but it ended up turning out really cool. I know for a fact I've never seen anybody have a Serious Stone scape like this, or even make a scape like this in a freshwater. So I always thought I was kind of special having something like this. But you know we've had it for about probably almost 9 months, 8 months, this scape, and it's nothing special now, but at least not to me. But it's the average. We've been getting kind of, you can see green right there, a couple algae spots. This is the first time I've actually, well, ever since I started dosing the fertilizer, I've been getting algae, and now I totally stopped fertilizing this tank because I figured out why. When you're not having CO2 and the light's not strong enough, everything just becomes uneven, and you're not gonna get perfect. So the fertilizer just doesn't. When you're adding fertilizer and everything else isn't balanced, it's just all it's gonna do is just feed the algae more, and it's gonna grow everywhere. So we're getting we've been getting green spot algae. I don't know how well. Yeah, you can see mostly on the bottom of the back is really bad. I try to scrub it out as much as I can because I don't want that spreading any more than it has. I've been getting some brown, not brown, but black hair algae. You can see right there and there. I'm to the point where I actually ripped this plant out. I just replanted it. I don't know. It's just some of these plants have been grown in this tank so long. I just don't want to throw them away basically. But I might just have to throw that one away. It's just I like keeping the plants there because it gives coverage for some of the autos, and it gives them something to feed off of because algae does grow on there, or at least some does. But I just don't want to throw away something that took months and months and months to grow that we worked hard on. But it might have to come down to that. Now the S. repens, I'm totally fine keeping S. repens. You know, first of all, I'm probably one of the first people to ever grow S repens in this horrible conditions. All the maintenance is good. It's just my light. With this tank being 2 feet tall, there's no light hitting this. It looks bright and it is bright, but if we put a par meter, I mean, I bet you the par's like under 10 at the bottom of this tank. Maybe even 5 or 6. I mean, so there's no light at all hitting these S repens, not as much as it needs, at least. But there is some light hitting it. It's just not as much. You can see from the green spotted algae. You can kind of see where it kind of affected it, but it grew in, so you can't really see it as much in the S repens anymore. But growing this good of a kind of a bush, and this is what I was kind of going for. I really wasn't trying to carpet the S repens. I was kind of going for that. I put some over here in the beginning, but then I just moved them all right here and made just a long bush. Ended up looking out good. I might honestly do something similar, to the edge over here to this tank. But I really don't want to just pull these one out and transfer it in there. I really don't want to do that. I might cut off trimmings, but I'm not just going to rip out these plants. They've been in here a long time, and especially these were my first plants, so I'm not going to do anything to them. But equipment, I got the Fluolite, the Marineland wave maker, or whatever you want to call them. Going blank, but that's Marineland, and then obviously I got the 250s doing good, and then the Fluval heater, which is same heater I got there, and actually the same filter on these two. And the fish in here, I gotta count 1, 2, 3. Got 5 neons, 2 black neons, 2 glow lights, 3 autos. I did have 5. I do not know where the other 2 went. I got 2 cherry barbs, maybe 1. I think I have 1, maybe 2. I don't know. I see 1 right now, but and then I got 1 Plecto, which was my first fish in here, and it's full size now, and it's around. That's about 3 years old now. That Plecto, 3.5. So he's an old one. He's definitely my longest living fish. Well, my longest. No, that's about right, because my beta lived for about 4 years, 5 years. So he isn't my oldest fish yet, but I bet you he will be. Probably one of the toughest fish I've seen. But you might be wondering why you can see I have pearlweed in this tank, and if you watch my update, I actually put a stack here. Ooh, the Plecto, like whatever plant is in this corner, for some reason always gets pulled out by the Plecto, so it's just sitting here right now. I'm not gonna mess with it right now. It looks like the roots are actually attaching itself, so it's kind of staying right there. So honestly, if it just ends up attaching itself right there, I don't care. As long as it stays in that corner. If it starts floating up to the surface, then I'll replant it, but it's fine right there. The Anubias, that was like right here, and then I put it right here. It just won't stay in the ground. I've been letting it float, but it's been such a good Anubias. It grows really well, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with this either. Probably all these plants are gonna get thrown away except these ones, because I really don't want to be in a planted tank. It just causes too much issues, because this is not really set up to be a planted tank. This tank, on the other hand, is. So plants will do good in that tank, but in this tank, there's no way. So I'm gonna keep the S repens. I might. It just depends. I might put a couple big plants in the corners like I've always wanted to, but that's about it. If I ever do get new plants, but the future plans is maybe during summertime when school's out. I want to restock this tank. Not take anything out, but I want to add something. I just want to add a really big school of something in here just to give it a lot of action. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I want rummy nose again, because that's my #1 favorite community fish ever. And the last time I had them, I only had 2 survive out of like the 10 I had. So I might get some of those. I might get like a school of 20 or 25. I don't know about 25, probably like 15 or 20, something like that. And then I might get more neons, or even just get cardinals. I really like cardinals, so maybe some cardinals and rummy noses. And I don't know, I just don't want to add anything too insane, but I mean, I got so much filtration in this tank, and this tank's honestly big enough to holds so much more fish. I just don't ever decide to add anything else. I'm just too scared to. Um, but we might have to add, maybe some other bottom dwellers. We might have to get some corridors again. That's a possibility. I would like to see that happen, but we'll just have to see what 20 rummy noses look like first before we do anything else. But I mean, yeah, that's a little update. I mean, on this tank, everything's doing fine. The only the big problems lately have been just algae. Right now this is the first time this light's been on in 4 days. I just turned it on to show you guys, but it's gonna get turned off right after this. I'm just trying to keep everything down as low as possible. I don't want anything growing, so this light's gonna be off for the rest of the weekend. Just keep everything down. But um, I mean, yeah, if you guys got any suggestions on, some videos, if you want to recommend a fish for a shout out, um, you can do that, or recommend a plant for a shout out, and we'll do that video. For any of the series, that's perfectly fine. Um, I can definitely do some of those this weekend. I'm off Monday, so we can definitely make some species videos again. Um, but other than that, you know, nothing much else to say about this tank. This tank is definitely not going to be here not much longer. That with the new house, this tank is definitely going with it. But I don't know if I want. It's probably going to get reset up, but I don't know how much longer I'm going to end up keeping it before I just want to switch it over to something different. Because I really don't want this tall of a tank no more. If I want a 40 gallon, I'm probably going to switch it to like a 40 gallon breeder, or even just get. My big plan is just to get a 55 gallon, really 55 gallon, maybe even a 65 gallon, just something really big, to upgrade at least this tank. And then this tank is definitely staying. I got way too much money in this tank to just stop it. So this tank, whenever we go to move, it's gonna be like a couple years away, maybe a year and a half. So it's not like we don't have time, but I'm definitely not gonna just break down this tank and just screw it. Um, we might have to buy new ADA by the time we get switched over, because I really doubt it's gonna be usable once we drain this whole tank. The ADA is gonna go to crap. So the only thing that'll probably get switched out is the ADA, but the plants. Actually, if we take out the substrate, that's gonna mess up the carpet plants and stuff. So I don't know how this tank's gonna go. Honestly, we'll just have to see that. That's a future thing. Right now, it's just set up, so I don't know how that's all gonna work. But yeah, I mean, I think today I'm gonna scrub this glass down and really get this clean again. So act like I actually care about this tank again. I've just had, when you get a new tank, everybody knows, you get too excited, and all your focus is just on that tank, and you forget about everything else you have. But yeah, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.